So this is it. This is the last video in this series, and you are going to want to stick around to see what advice my nomad friends have for anybody starting out. When I was first starting out, I used to look everywhere for information on van builds and best gadgets, what people were doing with different vehicles, what was working, what wasn't working. And I would have given anything to sit down with a group of seasoned nomads and ask them what advice they would have for me starting out. And so that is what I have tried to do for you. I think you're gonna like it. Very good advice. So let's go see what they have to say.
All right, piece of advice for somebody starting out. I would probably say just get your necessities in there, live in it for a little bit, and then decide where you want to go from there. I would never have done the kitchen this way if I hadn't have actually grabbed a pad and slept in it when it was still raw.
The number one piece of advice I would say is just start with what you have. This Prius is what I had already. So I want, obviously a van so I can stand up, but especially right now with the gas and how expensive everything is, it's like, just start with what you have. If you want to get out and explore, just get out and do it.
Okay, so the advice you would give somebody starting out, what would you say?
Start out simple with a place to sleep, something to cook so you can feed yourself, and a place to do your number one, number two. Start out and then you're gonna spend from there on. You'll find out what you need once you do the actual road trip and camping and all that stuff. So don't buy extra stuff you don't need yet.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this can be freezer, but you have a freezer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. It'll be like 10 minutes.
Okay.
On the back.
You know, worst case scenario, these aren't done until tomorrow night. I just want to keep them light.
I know.
I
I
know.
think they'll be ready.
Yeah, okay. And I can make my fridge pretty cold. If you think you would like to do it, if you have dreamed about doing it, if you want to do it, you only get one shot. And for me, anyway, and I have wanted and dreamed, and I now have jumped in. It's the best decision I've ever made. I'm not looking back. I keep going. My advice is to just do it. Just do it. Get your rig, start building it out, fall in love with your rig, get to know it, and just start taking some trips. I mean, you don't have to go full time right away. I didn't. You can take a week here or 2 weeks there or a weekend and, find an event. Go to a festival, go to a meetup, go to a van rally, come here to the Wind River in Hudson. It's great. Meet people and just do it. I mean, that's really how I want to say that. Just do it.
Piece of advice, yeah, so that's it.
Best piece of advice if you're getting into this life would be to live in it before you build it. So throw your sleeping bag in, throw your cot in, sleep in it for a couple of weeks before you decide where you want to put everything. Best advice I can give you is that. Live in it first, then build it out.
Great. Advice that you would give somebody starting out, and maybe even, people who have kids?
I will say follow your dreams, do not give up, and take it as one day at a time. Sometimes RV life or van life can be a little bit overwhelming. Just one day at a time and keep doing it. Do not give up.
And just know that no matter how much research you do, how many rigs you try out, how many people's rigs you look in and think, oh, this is what I want, this is what I want. Once you actually get to using it, you're almost 90% of the time going to find something to change or modify that doesn't work right for you, or that ends up falling apart and breaking because of your situation is different than the other person's. It never fails. There's going to be something that's going to break. There's going to be something you're going to want to change.
Yeah.
No rig is ever perfect until after you modify it for yourself.
So, suggestion for kids in the RV, just again, one day at a time, be patient, and
You're going to want to leave them behind. No, not really.
No.
Not really. But you have to know your kids.
Yeah.
You have to realize who your kids are, what their personalities are, what their likes and dislikes are. And you can't just do and go where you want to go. You have to go to places and do things that they find occasionally interesting as well. Otherwise, they're not going to stay interested, and they're going to want to fight you along the way, or they're going to just become not happy and go into a depression over doing this. When this is something that's perfectly doable for everybody, but you have to meet all of your all's needs.
Yeah. Find that balance between, you know, the adults and the kids. Yeah.
So, advice for people who are starting out?
I guess it's maybe something small, but it's the problem we've kind of come into is like, have a good game plan where your destination is, and double check it, triple check, you know, with Google Maps and maybe even Google Earth, because sometimes some of these apps will send you down people's private properties. Or, you know, or it might be like 5 o'clock and you're like, well, where are we going? And then you end up driving somewhere in the dark, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be parked here. You always want like a plan B too. We've gone to spots where we're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be so cool, and it's just slammed. And we're like, oh, well, what do we have to do now? And it's like, I wish we would have thought like a plan B, so we can just be like, all right, let's get out of here. And so
one of my tips would be, so I just started this 2 months ago, and I had a lot of stuff, and I was starting to feel claustrophobic in my own apartment with a 2-bedroom and just so many things. And I was struggling on, okay, what do I throw away? What do I keep for small living? And honestly, this is probably one of those advice that's kind of backwards. I would start small. So get rid of everything, start small, because you can gradually buy things along the way. And people, like, these events are amazing because sometimes people are like trying to get rid of stuff that you might need. So
we got an art bag. It was someone's cooler and they were like, it's just too clunky, we never use it. And it's been her art bag for our paints and stuff. And we're like, oh.
And I got that in Bisbee.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first event. So.
Yeah.
Ophi, sit. Hey, Ophelia. Sit. Good girl. So advice I'd have for anyone starting out is, right, what we put out is what we get back, right? You put out kindness, you get back kindness. I come up to someone and I'm in a hurry, I'm kind of a rude, I'm kind of a jerk. Are they gonna go out of their way to be nice to me, right? If I show a little bit of humanity, what are you gonna get back to you? A little bit more humanity. So when you're on the road, there's going to be challenges for you, right? Maybe your water's low one day, or maybe one day you got food poisoning, or maybe one day you're grouchy and everything's not going perfect, or you're in your head a little bit more, but you're out here in this most beautiful place. So why are you in your head, right? Take that second to breathe. Sometimes you go to like a park. Maybe there's somebody there. Don't be afraid to strike up a conversation and be kind. Kindness goes a long way in this journey, and I wouldn't have near as a grip on this thing as I do if not for kindness. And it's taken me longer than I could ever imagine from a naive kid doing this in an Altima in 2019, going on the dirt roads that the Jeeps and trucks can go, looking back on it like, how the hell didn't I get stranded, to now. Kindness has made this whole journey possible.
Honestly, my advice is always just to go for it. You can literally make almost anything work. And honestly, like, if you have a pickup truck, try it for a weekend or two, go on some weekend trips, see if you like it, go to a couple of gatherings, meet the community, because I think honestly, that's the sales point. Like, everything's awesome in this lifestyle, but the community is what really is the true utility, if you will, of this lifestyle. It's amazing.
You feel so much more community in this type of setting and like nomadic environment, I think, because even when we lived in an apartment, I didn't know who our neighbors were, and like I will seek out these people who are all the way across the country, and if we're near, we always meet up, link up, like go to the same gatherings. So best advice, jump. Just do it. You can make it work in anything. If you've got a Prius, even better. You're going to go really, really far in that thing right now. So
also, you can always take your first vehicle and flip it and then buy the second vehicle. And as you learn what you want, or like I said, come to a gathering, see some people's vehicles and kind of get an idea of like, man, oh, that would be perfect for me, or that would be perfect. Because there's all different styles. And at the end of the day, most of us are out there anyway. That's why we do it.
Sure. Thank you guys again for everything. It was so fun to do this series, and there'll be more, but this was a fun one to do. And I want to give a special thanks to Gracie and Tim and Janai, who helped organize the O22 meetup in Oregon, and Josiah, who, along with Seeker and the Journal of Lost Time and other sponsors, have provided the last 2 van events that I have gone to, and does really good events all throughout the United States. I'll be checking out those events on the Journal of Lost Time's website, and I'll leave a link in the description below. Please also be sure to subscribe to the people who were on this video who have channels. That would be Bus Life Pirates, Dream on Wheelz, MoBang FoYoBucks, Van Life with Gina, Two Artists in a Van. And the others have their Instagram, so you can go check them out if you have any questions. I'm sure they'd be very helpful to you. And if you like this content and want more of it, give a thumbs up and subscribe as well here. It's always very helpful to us. None of us really understands how much, but please do that. It means the world to us. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
No, you want enforcement type.
What's up, YouTube?
Man.
Oh, I guess you get it. I love it.
Yeah.
Get my boots.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Hope you can get more brand deals than I ever could.
God.
Yeah.
Look at him. Clever.
They're still cold.
Very clever. Erica, that's so cute.
Oh, whoa!
Nice catch.
You got that on film. You need to stop.